Now what I got here is a Yamaha YPT 400 keyboard. It's a YPT 400, aka an E403. It's the exact same keyboard as the E403. '61 full-size keys. It got a little sequence. It's got a sequencer. The E403, the E series, was Yamaha's entry-level keyboards. And what distinguishes this from the other E keyboards is this thing right here. It's got these two knobs on the left-hand side. And it's got the pitch wheel, which is not on a lot of these entry-level keyboards. Let's check out the connections on the back. It's got the power. It's got headphone/audio output, which I'm using right now. It's got a sustain pedal input, so you can use a sustain pedal with it. And it's got a USB. A USB that you can use. The USB means you could use this as a MIDI controller for all your VSTs if you hook it up to a computer. So you could play all your VSTs right off of this. But it does not do audio. It's not an audio interface USB. All it does is MIDI, just to let you know. So if you want to play some of your VSTs on your Ableton Live, or if you want to play your FL Studio, you can use this keyboard. The E403 was the first generation, which is this one, the first generation. Since then, they've come out with the 413, the 423, 433, 443, and the 453 is the latest one, I think. E453 is the latest one. And this one was released in 2007, so it's a 10-year-old keyboard, 10-year-old technology, but it's still really a really fun and good keyboard. I'm just going to demonstrate it really quick. You know, through the years, it seems like every 2 years they came out with a new one. So this is the first one of the E400 series. It's the E403. This one in particular has 504 sounds, and most of them are like the XG Lite, Yamaha's XG Lite system samples, which are really pretty good considering this is an entry-level keyboard. It's got an arpeggiator with 50 different arpeggios. It's got the dual function. It's got harmony. It's got you could split it. It's got sequencing. I think it's like a 6-channel sequencer. It's almost like a DJX with updated sounds, minus the ribbon controller, which was freaking awesome on the DJX. I love that little ribbon controller where you could just filter things with the ribbon, but this one unfortunately doesn't have that. Alright, so let's see what this thing can do. That's the cool rotary organ sound. It's got funky EP. CP80, which is an awesome electric keyboard sound. Jazz organ, rock organ. It's got 504 different sounds, so I'm not going to go over everything. You know, fretless bass, acoustic bass, slap bass, synth bass. It's got a whole bunch of sounds, and I just want to like go through the features that are exclusive to this particular model that the other entry-level models don't have. The main one being these two knobs, which allows you to control the filter. Which which allows you to sculpt your sounds on the fly. You know, you could use it for a filter, you could use it for effects, like it has a reverb. So if you want to add or turn down the reverb on the fly, you just gotta put this setting to effect. And then it also has a chorus. It's really nice to really fatten up the sounds if you want to fatten them up. And you got the envelope generator. So you can control the attack. You can control the release. Yeah, the attack and the release, and it's got a split function. You can split the keyboard. It's got a dual function. Let me just show you some, I don't know, some sound designing you can do on this thing. Let me just find a synthesizer sound. Where you at, synthesizers? How's this? So it's called the Resonant Synth Brass. So you can filter it up. The filter sounds pretty smooth. I mean, it does sound digital, it doesn't sound crazy like an analog filter, but you know, if you want to filter, sculpt your sound, add a little dynamic to your playing, it's great. Yeah, let's just layer that sound with another sound. All you gotta do is hit the dual button. That means the other sound is activated. And it's really intuitive. They have these dual mode buttons here, where to turn on the dual voice, to layer the sound, you just hit it. And if you want to change the sound that it's layered with, you just hold the button. And it goes to dual voice. Right now it's layered with strings. You can hear the strings in the background, and you can just go through other sounds if you want to layer it. Sweet trumpet, brass section, piccolo, start off. Let's go into some of these XG sounds. So I'm layering it with a thick saw. Actually, that's big lead. That's a synthesizer sound, and it's layered with that resonant synth brass sound. And let's check out the arpeggiator. So if you want to turn on the arpeggiator, you just hit the button. Arpeggiator, and you'll see that the arpeggiator is on. Really cool. And if you want to change the arpeggiators around, it's another dual function button where you just hold the arpeggiator button and it goes to the arpeggiator type. So this is up octave 1. And now there's down. Synthesizer ARP, sync echo, pulse line, random, down and up, super up. There's 50 different ones. Yeah. Now let's mess with this filter while we're arpeggiating it. That's dry without the reverb. You turn it up if you want to add some depth to the sound. Add a whole bunch of reverb to it. It's a little too much. That sounds like a decent balance. And mess with the chorus. Turn the chorus all the way up. And let's check out some of these beats that are here. These are basically the canned beats. They have intros and 2 parts, and they also have an ending and fills and stuff like that. This one's called Ibiza. All right. So you could do like an intro. You hit the intro button and you hit start. So it gives you a nice intro into the first beat. Yeah. And there's also a thing here where you could actually filter the style. The style meaning the beat that's playing, the canned beat, you could actually filter it. See, I'm just filtering the beat. This is the main A beat. That's the B beat. There's an auto accompaniment. I don't know what the accompaniment sounds like, but you turn it on. That's the main beat. Turn it down a little bit. That's the B beat. So it's got these fills in it where you could just like when you're playing live, you just hit the button, it throws up some drum fills and changes it up a little bit. Alright. There's another thing on here that's a pretty interesting feature. It's called the Performance Assistant, which is it's a feature that allows you to, like when you play or solo or play on top of something, it makes sure you never come off key, so you don't hit any sour notes. If you're like a beginner and you want to like just play riffs over something and you don't really know your scales, if you're a bad player like I am, you don't know how to really play too well, you never took any lessons, you could actually turn on this Performance Assistant, which I'm going to do right now. So the Performance Assistant is on now. So right now the left hand is where you actually do your chords. Like right now it's C minor. Now when I play over it, well, let me take off the arpeggiator. See, I'm just hitting the white keys. Now when I hit a chord change, that's F now. I'm hitting the same keys, but it's playing it in F minor. Now if I go back to C minor, so what it's doing is you just stay on one octave. You could just play from C and all the white keys, and whatever chord that your song or your style is set to, it keeps you on that scale. So you can't really hit any bad notes when you're soloing. So yeah, that's another cool feature of this keyboard. Let me shut off that Performance Assistant. I mean, it's something cool, I guess. If you're just jamming along and you don't really know your scales too well, you just, whatever chords are programmed into the song, it'll keep you on that scale when you're playing over it. So it's called the Performance Assistant technology. Let's see, what else can I say about this keyboard? Yeah, let's go through all the different control that you have over it has touch sensitivity, by the way. Touch sensitivity that you could adjust. There are 3 different levels right now. It's at medium, so it gives you a little more dynamic, some dynamic expressiveness. Now let's see all the other functions that are in this. If you just hit this function button, like right now it's on ARP type, and there's a category thing right here where it's on synth ARP, and there's the ARP velocity. It's got file loading. You could load files. It's got PC mode. If you want to use this as a MIDI controller, you change this to external. Style volumes, you could independently change the volume of the style in your actual voice that you're playing, the sound that you're playing. You can mix it. There's a transpose button, so if you're not good with your scales, all you gotta do is know your C and C minor, and you're good with pretty much all the scales. All you gotta do is transform. So there's a transpose function on it. There's a tuning thing where you could detune it. Pitch bend range. This is the pitch bender. You could change that to plus minus 1 to 12. 12 giving you a more extreme pitch range. For a little bit more expressive pitch bending, I guess. You could change the split point on the keyboard. There's a right now it's on 54. It splits right over here where it's supposed to split. This is being the bass sound and this being the main sound. You could change the touch sensitivity. Right now it's on medium. You could change the voice, the main voice volume, the main voice octave. So you could change the octave of the main voice and the dual voice when you're layering them. So you could change the octaves between them, and that way you can do some cool, what's the word I'm looking for? Some cool harmonies. There's a main pan. You could pan it right and left. The reverb for the main voice, chorus for the main voice, attack, release, resonance. Stuff that would be, you could also control from the knobs. Dual voice, you could control the same stuff for the voice that you're layering it with, and then the split voice, you could do the same thing with that. Right now it's at the split voice is a bass. The harmony volume, harmony type. You hold down the button, and then it goes to harmony type. That's dual. Tremolo. You could change that. The speed of the tremolo. 1/32 being the fastest. Echo. So it's got like 25 different harmony effects. I like the echo, let's say about 16. Let me just jam a little bit. Let me turn off that harmony. There's like another thing I like doing with these arpeggiators is picking an actual drum kit. Drum kits are sound 117. Let's go 117. This is a trick I like doing with these little home keyboards. If you just want to like experiment, what you do is you this is like a standard kit. Let's get dance kit. So what we got here is we got a dance kit. Let's start with the dual voice. I got it on the dance kit. Let me turn on the dual voice. Let me put that on another drum kit. I'm being experimental here. Melodic tone. So when you turn on the arpeggiator, you got let's go through the different arpeggios, find some other rhythms. That's the funk rhythm. We'll go. So what I'm just doing is I'm hitting random keys. And coming up with just like random rhythms. What I'm doing here is I'm hitting in just a random arpeggiator, just random keys. It's arpeggiating these drums, which is 2 different drum kits layered. And then what I'm doing is I'm messing with the pitch wheel, which is set at 12, plus minus 12 steps. So it gives it a nice extreme octave to octave pitch bend while it's playing. Just hit another bunch of random keys. let's try another arpeggiator. We just hold the arpeggiator button down. It tells you arpeggiator type. Let's go to like, this one says trance. Let's experiment with some other arpeggios. Super arp. Yeah, kind of going on a disco tirade over there. Let's, I don't know, check out some other beats. New hip hop. R&B. This is the ending part right here. Yeah. Thanks for hanging out with me and watching me jam and demonstrate this really cool entry-level keyboard. Yeah, I like using YouTube as a reference to look at gear before I buy it and see what it sounds like and see what it can do. And that's why I'm putting up these videos, so I could extend the same courtesy to other musicians out there who would like to check out some gear before they actually buy it. Okay, this is my demonstration of the Yamaha E403, aka Yamaha YPT 400. I hope you enjoyed it. Talk to you later.